Welcome to the July 11th Commissioner meeting. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for everyone coming. So we've approved the minutes from the June 21st meeting. I'll entertain a motion for that.
I will make the motion to approve the minutes from June 21st.
Second.
All those in favor signify by aye. We've approved the accounts payable vouchers.
I make a motion to approve the accounts payable vouchers.
And I second that motion.
All those in favor signify by
Aye.
We also approve the payroll docket.
Motion to approve payroll docket.
Second.
All those in favor signify by
Aye.
Mr. Phillips. We have CCMG or
I got it ready.
Community
Yes, that
Crossings
is
matching
Community
grant.
Crossings matching grant. We've been working on that. That application's due by the end of the month. I've already got it started with inside the NDOT's.
portal.
Yes, their Access Indiana.
Portal.
Working through those. One of the items that is required is the motion to pass the financial funding document showing that we actually have the money to be able to cover our match. Right now, they have increased the amount of funds that are available through the community crossings from 1 million to 1.5 million. If we're gonna try to max out that match and capitalize on that 1.5 million, and we're at 75-25% split, I just need approval to be up to $600,000 for our match so that we can do about $2.3 million worth of work. As far as the engineer's estimates going right now, we've been coming in a little bit under that and we've been fairly fortunate, but sooner or later we'll all be on the same page and they'll catch up and hopefully, we can keep, a couple of our current suppliers very aggressive and they continue to want to work here and do some quality work that we've been getting done. 'Cause I was driving some of these roads that we did originally in 2018 with some of the first rounds of paving with, community crossings. And a lot of those aren't showing any distress yet, which is very good, but we're also gonna stay very much so on the preservation path and
You stir the pot, huh?
very much so. We gotta stay on top of it.
5 to 8 years, right?
Pardon?
Adds 5 to 8 years to the life of them.
A lot of the pavement preservation, yes, with the asphalt overlays should be somewhere between, they calculate 11 to
Okay,
12 years
I
if
was
we did
thinking-
absolutely no other additional
thinking
preventative
of the
maintenance.
less favorite one, but that's okay.
Definitely.
Turn a motion to approve the,
I make a motion to approve the 600,000 matching
1.5.
for
well, our match would be the 600,000 for
Yeah, I
potential.
updated the letter. I think you might be looking at.
I second that motion.
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by
the,
Very good.
a lot of work, appreciate it.
This the letter we signed or? you-
No, we'll sign this one. I've
Okay.
updated the match. They originally wrote that one up for a community that was 50-50 match. That's why you see the $1.5 million match on
I
that.
see.
So I just kind of edited that where ours is 75-25 to be a little bit more reflective of what we had. And I changed the date on the one that I'd sent you for July 25th to match the meeting tonight, so for July the 11th, so I can run ahead of schedule. Oh,
Do you have anything else?
I was gonna say, do you want to jump right in?
Why not?
Department head
Next thing is
update?
department updates. So.
Splits. We've been working on replacing some of the bridge decks. We've got a few old wooden bridge decks still in the county. I'm working on trying to move some of those forward and kind of out of the way, but we did have one that had quite a bit of distress. I think something's been going across it that's probably overloaded it a little. So you recently saw the road closure for Camp Meeting Road, so we've got that one done. That one opened back up this morning. So we're running ahead. We're glad to have that one knocked out, and that'll be ahead of our bridge inspection, so we won't see all that ugly stuff on our bridge inspection. It goes into the federal. We're very happy to not have a lot of the effects from the most recent storm. Believe it or not, we only had one tree that was reported during the storm. And there were some local farmers that kind of helped them clean that up while they got there. And that was very much appreciative. And then today the sun's falling, shining. We got a report, hey, we got this tree down. I said, I don't know why. I said, well, it just finally gave up from the storm the other day. But at least we're kind of knocking those out. Pretty good sized project that we did on Hereford Lake. There were some side-by-side culverts that had been plugged up. Looked like at some point in time, they probably got collapsed by. We're not exactly sure what, if it was a previous utility repair. They didn't drain very good, so it was a pretty healthy project to get that dug up, got it reseeded. Hats off to the crew on that one. They knocked it out pretty handily. So there's a lot of utility lines to dig around it. Luckily, we didn't snag or cut any of those either. A lot of bush hogging has been getting done. We got through everything first pass that we're aware of. I think we missed some things. There's always something.
It's always a good caveat to
Absolutely. So they're kind of working on the second round and cleaning some of those up just a little bit farther and getting a little bit farther back where we can and when we can. One of the things I've kind of been working on, you guys know I've been very aggressive on trying to seal up on the preservation plan is crack seal. It's one of the cheapest things that we can do per square yard on our asphalt pavings. We purchased a semi-load of crack fill last year. We got through all of that with our contractors. Our budget's been a little bit tighter this year, so to utilize all of the crack fill, because we purchased another semi-load. I was gonna rent the melter. The melter is gonna cost about $350 a day to $1,500 per week, figuring we'll get about 3 days use out of that, and they kind of figure in a couple of rain days with that. I got to wondering and inquiring about going ahead and purchasing our own melter so that it would be available whenever we were ready to go and we didn't have to fool with the rent. Fooling with or messing with one of the contractor's quotes, because some of those will quote the material and the material with the melter. The melter adds not quite 50% to the cost of the product. So if you were looking at $1.35 a pound for the rubber material that we use in the melter to seal up the cracks versus the 60 to 65 cents a pound that I've been able to get it purchased for. Last year, the emulsion things were a little higher. It was about 80 cents for the semi-load per pound. And this year I got it picked up for 60 cents. The current quote right now is 65. A new melter would run $62,794. I'm still trying to get that negotiated down just a little bit more. But I was wondering if I could get you guys to entertain the notion to purchase that with some of the equipment funds that I have available in our 1176. Because we would going through, even if we purchased a semi-load and it took us 2 years to utilize the semi-load, by that third year, we would have the melter paid for just in what we would be paying for rental of the melter. And they do have a 1-year warranty on it, and they would be able to service that for us.
If we had one sitting on site, would we be inclined to use it more?
It would be available and I wouldn't have to do the schedule.
That's what I'm
Yes, absolutely.
thinking. So a good day, it's like, let's roll.
Yeah, we'd be scheduling it very aggressively. And that way, if we used it once a week and a storm comes in and we aren't able to use it for a couple of days,
You
we
know,
would be paying rent on that. Otherwise, we would be able to get it done if we were renting it versus owning. The only downside that I can even share with you is I wouldn't be able to use 1173, those restricted funds for the melter. That if I'm contracting that out, I can use those restricted funds versus our normal maintenance funds. Because you can't purchase equipment out of 1173, and right now, we're not reimbursed for the labor for 1173 that we are if we contract that out. So it's a big shell game. So I'm just trying to figure out how to maximize this turtle.
Do you know Scott County has one?
Scott County does not.
Would that be something to include in this interlocal, or think it's that worth enough of that to do that, just to?
It's possible.
Think
I
about it.
know.
I mean, it's not I don't think that's anything that makes or breaks it, but the same kind of deal. You guys had something and,
Yep.
Might be worth just a question and see what they say.
I can check into that.
Cause I know, did you, I don't think you were on the emails today about the interlocal on that.
No, but Pat Dixon, we went on the site because he was of the understanding that part of that was to include some of the paving equipment. Scott County already owns all of their paving equipment. So where that would come into play is if they have it available, have an interlocal agreement in place with the chip seal. We could kind of piggyback on that to be able to utilize some of that paving
Through
equipment.
me, I thought.
Yeah.
And we could still kind of do the same thing if they had something that they want to run on the melter. Because I did inquire on trying to even purchase some used melters if there was anything available. Some contractors are pretty rough with those when they
Sure.
return those, so. He
Since
was pretty confident I would spend a lot more trying to get one back up to good condition than where they were, than what we would otherwise.
Plus with a new one, when you wanna use it, you can use it.
Spend the day fixing it so you can use it tomorrow and then someone else comes on.
Right. I would be in favor of using those funds to purchase one then.
I second. So too.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, signify by aye.
Yep, I'll keep trying to get that negotiated down just a little bit more. Will not exceed that $62,794.87 that he's got me quoted so far. So he was supposed to send me another email with a little bit better price, so I won't tell him I've got this passed just yet.
Okay,
Thanks for that luxury that I can negotiate that just a little bit further. So, you guys have anything for me?
Thank you.
gentlemen.
Thank you.
Start off, I was just informed when we got here that the Trailblazer are sold.
good deal. Someone's getting a good car. I got a bunch, 180,000 miles on it.
Well,
No, I take that back because we had 40 some when we got it, so I got 140,000.
final bid was 1,100.
Better, than- yeah,
Yeah,
so good.
just, we've got the online donations set up and it is activated and going,
Already
Good,
working.
good.
already working.
Mhm.
We have a circus coming in August.
I think you have a circus up there all the time. What do you mean?
This one's gonna be set up at Bicentennial Park, August 2nd and 3rd, and the proceeds of the ticket sales is going to the shelter. They can, like, they are having 3 shows, and each show can house 250 people, or they can seat 250 people per show. Even if we only get $1 per ticket sales, that's $750 for it all, we'll get off of this. If they
Sure.
So we're excited about that, we're advertising like crazy.
Sure. I
But-
mean, the circus doesn't come around much anymore, so you gotta figure that there should be a really good turn.
Yeah, and this is supposedly, without the animals, but more of the older,
Mhm.
the typical clowns and acrobats and trapeze artists and all that kind of stuff. So. And then I've started now helping the prison, giving vaccinations to their animals, kind of save them some costs on going to the vets and stuff. I'm teaching a couple of them how to do it themselves. And then tomorrow I'm doing another kitten rescue run. So 13 of our cats are going up to Paul's to be rescued, which is amazing news because normally cats don't get rescued, so.
Hmm.
And then everywhere, shelters are full. I mean, every shelter around here, we're full. We're trying to get creative. Like Louisville, they're offering up free adoptions till the end of July. Just to try to get some of their animals out. Some of our longer term that we've already gotten spayed, neutered and all that, we're offering half off donation or adoption prices right now, just to try to help
Would it be,
get some moving along.
would it be too much of a hassle to set something up at the circus to kind of take some animals there and show them off?
Yeah, I mean, he did ask, like that we make a present on the August 2nd, so I do believe we're gonna go down, with something. But it's hard to do adoptions on site,
Sure, understand.
so that's where doing these things. But anything to get them out, yeah, and.
Good for them, but then, yeah, but if you want to adopt, you gotta come back to the shelter.
Yeah.
But,
So we're trying to get creative on how to get some animals out, but it's everywhere. There's more animals coming in than there is adoption for getting them to go out. So I want y'all aware that I'm trying my hardest to get them adopted. And then this other thing, and then since last meeting, we kind of had a couple of officers come up asking, you know, like, what our codes are for like county ordinances on animal related issues. And it took me a while to find the codes. They weren't that easy to find for them. And then we realized that a lot of officers really don't know what they can and cannot write on when it comes to animal related laws. The state has repealed a lot of the animal laws. Like, I don't know if they're moved them over to a new section, but everything that we used to write on for the state level has been repealed, and so those codes don't exist anymore. So we're getting with Pat and we're looking at, but I'm asking, you know, like if you all get into ever in the ordinances, are y'all responsible for the fines on those ordinances though? Like. the
Well,
charges
yeah, I'm sure we
against them?
are. I mean, at one point in time, they were set up. If you would have some suggestions.
They need to
feel-
be upped.
Okay,
because
sure,
20
I'm
20
sure no
bucks
one-
is not, people are just like, oh.
That was probably in what, 1974, they
I
decided.
know.
what to be. So, yeah, I mean, as you see those, don't be bashful about,
I'll get a list.
Sure.
Are
and
you, are
let's,
you putting chips in now?
Yep, we're microchipping. It's not as popular as I thought it would be, but every so often we're getting more and more in, so.
I mean,
A little more income for the
Sure.
shelter and.
it's helpful for you, should you find them, it's helpful for them, I mean, so. I mean, it's not like it's, you know, you chip them and.
Right, no, and I'm making sure to register them, I
Yeah.
do that myself, so I know they're getting in and getting it registered instead of chipping and saying, here, go register,
Sure.
Yeah,
so. Anything else? Other than that, we're
Mhm.
tugging along.
thank you for your hard work.
Well, let me thank, you, one, for doing coming up, taking the pictures of the Trailblazer and getting that all up. Thank you, appreciate that. And then Brian, for all these grants that you're,
I mean, money, yeah.
well, but you're still taking your time to write them for me.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained, so
Yeah.
good
Thanks.
deal.
And, you know, in some of those grants, if it doesn't happen the first time,
Yeah.
it may the second, you
Well,
know.
this
Some,
is more than,
well, I mean, it seems to be that way in a lot of these, you learn so much the first time through. Oh, they want this word in there, okay, I can put this one, but, you know, I mean, it sounds silly, but unfortunately, it can be that,
I'm just
Particular.
happy they're getting written.
yeah, well, that's good too.
I appreciate it.
Jump in. I don't really have much. I think I've been keeping you guys up on everything. So yeah, on the animal shelter grants, we did apply to a private funder for some money for design. I also applied to an effort called Rescue Rebuild, kind of a plan B in case we don't get any funds for a new animal shelter. This organization, they'll come in, look at your operation and help you kind of reconfigure, rebuild, reconstruct some things. So we applied to them. I have no idea when we'll hear from them. They're kind of working on just an open system. You can just apply anytime and whenever they get enough, they sit down and look at them all. So we might hear something there. So that may be a plan B if we don't get any funding for other things. Ready grants are due tomorrow at noon. Campground, I think is in pretty good shape. It's pretty much finished. I got a couple details to iron out on the animal shelter. I'd like to yell at you there afterwards.
Well,
Not yell,
I don't know.
just a couple things. And then once that's over, I've got another private funder that I'm looking at for some painting money for the shelter, so we'll get on that next. But I've been doing a lot on the Ready grant's been taking a lot of the time right now. So it's about that. And talking about selling the Trailblazer. So yesterday I somehow got invited to this phone call webinar for Association of Indiana Counties. Did you see the publicsurplus.com
Mm.
partnership they've got now?
Well, I saw the email, but
Okay, so I sat in on it. It's like Gov Deals, it's publicsurplus.com. Sounds like their buyer's premium's a little bit cheaper than Gov Deals. And they've got something going now where they'll take 10% of the buyer's premium that they get and give to Association of Indiana Counties. So that's the example they gave is $100,000 grader. It's 10% buyer's premium, so they get 10,000 and they'll give 10% of that or $1,000 directly to AIC. So they recorded the webinar, and once I get a link to it, I'll send it out to you. Just trying to make the email a little bit shorter when I do send it. But it's pretty cool. So like you're talking about where you had to go out and take pictures, they've actually got an app. I don't know if GovDeals has that or not, but they said nobody's doing auctions on their webpage. Everybody's doing an app. You go out, pull your phone out, take your pictures of your equipment, whatever you want to sell, build your auction right there on your phone, and it's good to go. You can do things like geofencing. You don't want to open it up nationwide, set reserves, set minimums, all that. So it's pretty slick system they had there, and it's a little bit cheaper for the buyers than GovDeals would be. So once I get that link, I'll send it to you. It's worth looking at least. Sure. And get some money back to the state and counties. Other than that, that's about it. Anything for me? Catch up to you guys afterwards.
Won't see anybody else, do you?
You ready from the public?
You know what I want to talk about.
Okay.
Excuse me. That's about the road. 925 north. I've got a bill I'm gonna send the commissioner.
Okay,
Wife,
I don't know that we can,
my wife broke a belt in her tire. Across the road. It's got, now there's mud and there's holes that deep in it. People driving out in the ditch, going around it. Not a good situation. I don't know what his hands are tied money wise, but we're gonna have to do something. There's not anybody in this room to put up with driving on the road like that. All we got to say.
you guys have anything?
No, we had the first mental health summit yesterday at the Fairfield Inn. Run by Bethany Legacy. It was very well attended, wasn't it, Bob? It was quite a crowd. It's good to see. Talk about where we're headed as far as being Jefferson County being a mental health desert. Found out a better explanation of that I did. It was good. And we were the first county to have the summit in Indiana. Pretty impressive. Be more on the residential treatment train at our next meeting.
So did they talk about any strategies to address the issue? Or,
Yeah, that kind of did a round table, projections. Yeah, kind of where we're headed is one of them, like a facility. That's kind of what we're working on. We do have some mental health help here in the county, but we can have this the next step.
I know they passed the health first law, but they all said a mental health, I don't think they call it first, but a law too. Any discussions on tapping into some of those resources?
Well, not exactly. I don't believe.
Okay.
Yeah. I think this is our first go around. And Bethany Legacy Group is really behind it, so. You got a good force there.
You?
Anything?
And I think the only thing Brian mentioned that the application's going in Friday. Serpsey is taking on the Rikers Ridge Sewer District project, so they've been working on that, and they'll submit that on Friday at noon. So we did send out a request for proposal for the infrastructure kind of evaluation. We've gotten a couple letters of interest so far. So we'll get, had a couple questions, but nothing kind of how big of a scope you're looking at? Figured it's probably good to target some sections in the county, and we said that in the request for proposal, so.
Civics.
Yeah, rather than just doing countywide, but so. We'll know more once, so. Couple weeks on the proposals, so. All I have.
Should be here something from RDA the end of this month, the 1st of August, wouldn't
Yeah, so they've kind of moved up their timeline so that their first meeting in August, I think they're supposed to have their selections completed. So I think initially they were gonna talk about them then and then maybe in September, but I think the IEDC has kind of encouraged them to move a little quicker. So, yeah, we should. Sure. Don't go across the bridge, can I tell you that? At least at certain times, don't go across the bridge. You won't go across the bridge, you'll sit on one side or the other and wait. So, anyway. That's all I have.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I second your motion, Ron.
All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Thank you for coming.